thing I told you about before the break? Hunting drones? I promised. A small town in Colorado is now putting off a vote on a measure that would allow its residents to hunt drones. Just shoot them out of the sky. This is not a joke. The mayor of Deer Trail, Colorado, says today's vote's being postponed until next year so that a court can look at the legality of the ordinance. A resident there drafted up that little piece of paper in response to the FAA's plan to create 6 drone test sites around the country, the locations of which are still a secret. Joining me now for the legal view on so-called domestic drone hunting are the experts. Don't ask me why they'd be the experts in this, but they're going to be today. Criminal defense attorneys Paul Callan and Joey Jackson. I just have this to say. It's a federal offense to destroy government property.
Yes, it is.
It doesn't matter if it's in the sky or on the ground. How could this even have made it to paper?
I think it's a symbolic type of situation. I would hope that they weren't looking to really implement this. I mean, everybody knows there's a supremacy clause, right? Not to get too fancy with the law, but the federal government, of course, they're the supreme law. You cannot enact an ordinance to destroy federal property when there's a clear statute that says that you can criminalize it. And so maybe it's just about privacy. It's just about drawing attention to this invasion of these drones.
No, it's serious. I think they are serious.
Well,
they put a bounty on pieces. It's like, a certain amount of money if you get a wing.
Licenses for permit. Yeah.
This is a Colorado town with 598 people in it, and I guess using guns and shooting is a big sport there, and why not shoot down a drone? And they're talking about going drone hunting is really what they're talking about. But in truth, this is a serious issue. This is a $10 billion industry potentially in the United States. About 80% of drones, by the way, Ashley, are used for agricultural purposes like surveying corn crops and that sort of thing. You start shooting down those, and then there'll be a farmer shooting back at you.
Here's the deal. Look, a lot of these guys who are talking about this ordinance and support it, it's not that they don't recognize the value of drones, and there's a lot. I mean, I think there have been a number of search and rescues that have been effectuated by the use of drones, and like you said, the agricultural purposes. But then there's also that secrecy business. 6 sites testing around the country. They won't tell us where they are.
Well, but this kind of issue has already been decided long ago. When the railroads, when they originally went after the airline industry and saying that they owned the air rights above the tracks because they wanted to shut down the airline industry, and eventually we decided to have the FAA, and it's over 500 feet. You don't own the space.
If I take my shotgun and I blast a little piece of U.S. drone out of the sky, what happens to me?
I think you'll be in a little trouble, Ashley. Absolutely.
And how would you defend me?
Well, I wouldn't need to, because I know you know better, okay? But there's a federal statute that talks about the destruction of federal property, and of course it criminalizes it. I mean, it's up to 10 years in jail. You're talking about, massive fines.
Well, you could do 20 years in jail, because if your good shot causes the drone to fall into somebody and hurt somebody, it could be a murder.
There's no concern about this. Don't get a sub for me yet. I went skeet shooting with my brothers, and they're awesome, and I officially stink. I got 1 all afternoon, 1.
We don't believe
And I just put that on the TV, on the CNN. Joey and Paul, will you stick around? I got some other stuff coming up. Down